Hi there boys and girls, Brucie here with a very quick follow-up on a video I just put out. It's an addendum to that video. The video is, so what tools do you need to be a film composer, TV media composer? There was one piece of gear that I actually forgot, and it's something that's kind of relatively important. Oh, mostly relatively important depending on the way you work. And that is an interface, an audio interface. You will need a way of getting your sounds recordings into and out of the computer. Of course, you could use the inbuilt sound card, an inbuilt microphone, but obviously there the quality is not particularly great. Then again, if you are working exclusively entirely inside the box, then perhaps all you need is a headphone out. Obviously the drivers and that come with sound cards will probably give you a better latency than you might get with the inbuilt card. So some investment in a sound card is probably worthwhile. Now, in the previous video, we looked at a bunch of handheld recorders. Now, these recorders could be useful because the Zoom one in particularly and the Tascam both operate as audio interfaces as well. Again, probably not the best quality, but again, it really depends on what you need and what you want to do. I would recommend probably going something like this. This is the Focusrite Scarlett 2-in 2-out. It's a very simple sound card. It's got some really good, nice preamps. So if you're recording microphones, see the previous video. It gives you a monitor control, so you don't have to keep trying to adjust the level in your DAW or on your computer if that's the way you do it. It gives you jack outputs that you can plug into your monitors if you've got monitors, or the headphone output as well. It also has a headphone output with a separate control. So very simple, a very good starting sound card, and one that you might use for years, again, depending on how you work and depending perhaps if you work exclusively inside the box and you're not planning on recording external instruments, or maybe you took my previous advice and maybe go with something like a handheld recorder to do some of your recording and bring it in and manipulate it. So the thing you need to do is sit down and really figure out what kind of studio you want to run, what you plan to do. Are you planning on recording lots and lots of different instruments? In which case, then you need to go maybe with something with a lot more inputs. Here we've got the Focusrite Claret range. Again, I've gone for a halfway house, so I've got 4 mic preamps on the front and then 4 inputs on the back, which are connected to my patch bay, and then via ADAT I have another 8 ins and 8 outs via an external card. But to be honest, I never use all of those channels. Perhaps if I'm doing some location recording, I did some of that relatively recently. I put it in a rack and I went out and recorded. That would have been 12 inputs, so drum kit and things like that. But that's kind of untypical for me. I really thought long and hard about what it is I want to do in my studio and how I want to record, and this gives me all the options that I'm going to do. I do a lot of guitar recording, the guitar recording factory, so being able to record high quality guitars is my main thing with a multiple of different options. But again, I don't need lots and lots of inputs, and I really don't need lots and lots of outputs. I probably export, having 4 outputs here is enough for me, because through the patch bay I can just patch things in and out as I need them. I was really thinking about the way I work. That's what you need to do. Sit down with a piece of paper and figure out where you plan to go and what you need to do with your sound card. If you're just going to be a composer who works exclusively with virtual instruments, then something like this will probably do you fine. If you plan on recording instruments, then maybe a halfway house. Again, if you're doing singer-songwriter material, think about 2 to 4 ins and outs. If you are recording things like drums and orchestras, then yes, you're going to need a lot of inputs. Other sound cards to consider would be something like the UAD Apollo. That is a great sound card, and you can buy into the whole UAD plugins architecture. Motu do great sound cards. They do small ones, they do large ones for multiple installations. RME, if you're on the PC, do really fantastic sound cards. Presonus, M-Audio, there are a whole bunch of them. What I would say is explore it and invest your money wisely, but don't over-invest if you don't need many of the features. Really just figure in what it is you need to do. And like I say, for a majority of people, perhaps working exclusively with virtual instruments, you just want to be able to plug into your speakers and maybe on the odd occasion plug in a couple of microphones, record those, and then having a monitor control. Something as simple as that. If you plan on doing bigger things, build up. But again, maybe start out, because this is a message for people who are starting out. Start out small, it's not a massive investment, and then work up once you actually figure out what it is you need to do. The other thing I forgot to mention in passing was monitors. You can see monitor speakers, not monitor monitors, monitor speakers. Monitors are going to be crucial, and that's one area where you should probably consider investing well. Buy once, buy wise. Don't skimp on monitors, but at the same time there is a whole bunch of other factors you need to consider taking into account. So if you are starting out, I would probably recommend going with headphones, buying a really decent pair of headphones. The amount that you think you might spend on a lower quality monitor system probably is better off spending on a higher end headphone system, because then you will keep those for 10, 20 years. Headphones are very personal, and once you find a pair that you like, you will use them for years. I forgot to add in about interfaces. I forgot a little bit about monitors. What I will do is I'm going to explore this topic in a bit more detail, particularly monitoring and headphones, and do another video on that. So thanks again for watching my videos. Thank you again for watching the previous videos. I've been Brucie. If you've got any questions, drop me a message in the comments below. Please do click subscribe. Please do hit like. That really helps us, motivates us to carry on. And if you want, click the notify button, click the little bell, and that will notify you when any new videos come out. I will catch you later.